it's too late now.
Well, fine. Guess it wasn't that important. Hello and welcome to FlutterFlow Live, week number 18 with myself, Joss, and my bestest buddy here from Bulgaria, Dimitar. I'm really proud of myself today, and it's really embarrassing because I was ready on time. I did the link, everything apart of like setting up the stream correctly. I even had an image, so it's actually ready in advance rather than a generic one. And I did an episode description. And I was really proud until I realized that 18 weeks is kind of a long time for this to be the first time that I've gotten that right. Probably
No, I
should
think you had it before. I think in the beginning you had it like before, and
I've
then
never had the image ready in time.
I think it was like that. And
That's
now we are
the
here. Now we are here again. But
the other thing I want to say is that Dimitar and I were supposed to be matching buddies here with clothing outfits, and Dimitar screwed me over.
yes, talking about that, I wanted to thank FlutterFlow for actually giving this box to all of us. And when I mean all of us, I mean like people that trying to help FlutterFlow. I think I'm mostly of the time I'm just pissing them off, like with all the things that I want them to implement or all the bugs that they want to fix. But let me just show you for 1 minute what is the box. And this is the box.
It's a dick in a box.
Josh has the same box, but I just wanted to share it live. So this is the box, and we have a card here which says thank you very much for your support. And then we have stickers. Did you use your stickers, Josh?
I haven't yet. I haven't. I do it.
So we have stickers apparently.
Turned into a sleeping box for my cat, to be honest.
I really like that all the developers are with cafe, so it's always a cafe here. But I don't drink coffee, to be honest.
I don't drink coffee either, to be honest.
So yeah, that's that. And then we have this amazing cup, which is this one over
here. I
here.
really like this cup. It's metal, by the way, people.
Yes,
it's a metal cup, and it's really cool.
It is, and you can open it like that. And I think it's for tea or a coffee. It's great.
Tea.
Yeah.
Or vodka, whichever you prefer.
And then we have this, which is amazing.
Yeah, this is what my cat loves. My cat is loving this. Just playing in this like straw.
If you had cats, I don't have cat. And we have this one over here, which is a t-shirt. And I think it's I think I said M, but I think M it's too big for me. I'm not sure. Yeah. But what I wanted to say at the beginning is that I will go off cam to take my new t-shirt, to put my new t-shirt, and then I'll come back again on cam.
Very nice.
But in the meantime,
people who are doing startups, there's actually something relevant here. This service that they're using, it was one that I hadn't really checked out before. I don't get paid for saying this, but it's called Swagbox, I think.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yeah, and basically what they do, Abel was explaining to me, they just like you prepare what you want, like junk that you want to go out in a box, and they deal with everything else. Like you just send them a list of people that you want to send it to. And it was really cool because the first time they tried to send me stuff, it got detained at customs, and like I had to pay some fee, and because I'm a cheap ass and I didn't know what it was supposed to be like a surprise. I never paid it, and so I got shipped back to California. So yeah, I think this thing is this service is really cool. I will definitely use it for Flex for sure. So while Dimitar is getting naked and getting on his team FlutterFlow gear, I'm going to show you something which is maybe of interest for those of you. Obviously, we're starting an app, often you don't have much time, and that's the news that I'm showing right now. But one, as you may have noticed, I'm a little bit disorganized, and I like anything that saves me time. One of the things that we use, it feels like we're just all doing promos here, but we're really not. I'm not getting paid for it. This tool that I don't even have open, which would help. See, not organized. What this tool does is essentially, I just let you read their website, automatically generate on-brand creatives. So that's actually not necessarily so helpful, but essentially what you can do for instance, generating the little thumbnails on YouTube. Like, I'm not very graphically talented anyway to begin with, but they're all the same. If you've noticed, they just have something a little bit different. And the way we do that is just literally you create a template image, and then you set with dynamic variables what you want those. If I go in here, what you want, like for instance, this is the dynamic part, surprise, surprise, and then the week is the dynamic part, and the rest is exactly the same. You set those up as being the dynamic things, and then what you can actually do is just have in, I use Airtable, you can do it with API if you're like Dimitar, but essentially you just type in what you want to be there, and then every time you create a new record in Airtable, for those of you who have never used Airtable, Airtable is either a fancy spreadsheet, you can call it, or it's a accessible, easy to use database. But essentially, every time I create a new row in here with those two things, it will go and generate the image for me in like a second automatically. And then I just have it here and I can go download it and actually be on time for once. So I thought it's my secrets.
Great. But now we're matching buddies.
All right. Matching buddies, BFF, best FlutterFlow friend. Ready?
Yeah.
In FlutterFlow. Let's do it. We're just wannabes. We got the shirt. We can pretend now.
Let's kick some ass.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right, now on with what you came here for, probably, which is what is in the news of FlutterFlow. Not endorsed by FlutterFlow because we pissed them off by talking about stuff we're not supposed to talk about. So yeah, let me turn on your screen share.
Yeah.
And let's get started.
Yeah.
So what's in the news? Dimitar is frozen.
You should read the news, right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. What's in the news? Let's do it.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, I'm supposed to read it. The plan is breaking down.
That was the plan.
I forgot. Dimitar has a new Ubuntu system or something.
Yeah, talk about my Ubuntu system now.
I don't have to. I'm just like, what is going on here? The problem is actually I can't read it. I didn't necessarily think this through. But yeah, I know what it is anyway. It's
Can't read it? Wait. What about now?
Oh yeah, that's better. I'm blind. I haven't had my eyes checked in like 10 years. So first thing, custom web publishing. This has obviously been a beta feature for a while, so maybe some of you have used it before. What this means is that your app, it's prime time now, it's ready to go. And you can make your app also a web app. There's different things you need to think about in terms of like responsive design, but the way you actually do that, it's a lot less hassle than publishing to one of the app stores, that's for sure. It's literally one click. And the most important thing that's new is you can have a custom domain. So rather than having to have, myapp.flutterflow.app, you can have a custom domain. So you can have app.myapp.com, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's now live for everybody to enjoy and share. So I think that was it for that one, right?
Yeah, the thing is that I want to add is that you cannot see it right now because of our cams, to be honest. I think I cannot move it more down, but there is a value here. It says CNAME value.
What's a CNAME?
So, yeah, I'm not a server guy, but the CNAME, when you actually visit a website on internet, there's behind this address, there is the IP address that you're actually opening. So if you're opening, for example, google.com or FlutterFlow.io, you are actually opening IP address. But CNAME, it's something that I think it's something that when you actually write it or add it to your domain, actual domain, you need to actually say wherever you go to this domain, just open this other subdomain, so to say. So this is important because without this configuration or without this setup, of course, this will not work because there you need to somehow say that opening this domain will actually open something else. So in reality, I haven't tested, to be honest. I'm not sure if the
Show my
links
screen
will.
quick if you want. I just have to, because I can show what the setup looks like.
Yeah.
I just have to be kind of a little bit, I suppose, probably not share some parts of it. How do I just want to share a tab. I'm really not good at being like private. Let me try here. So basically, whoever your web server is with is where you're going to be doing this. Let's do. Oh, fuck it. Oops, sorry. So you can hopefully see this, and
Yes.
we're going to try and hide the stuff that I'm probably not supposed to share. So whoever, whether you have GoDaddy or whatever, there will always be somewhere you can go into your DNS settings. Some of them are more easy. We have Google domains, so it's here. And literally, when you're adding the CNAME, it's as simple as, so you can choose the subdomain part, and then it's going to be so that's our normal website, flexburst.dev. CNAME, and then FlutterFlow is going to give you a couple of long things that you paste into the other part. You can also see, like, I have one for, this one is for Stripe checkout. So rather than saying checkout.stripe.com, it will say checkout.flexburst.dev. So for those of you, yeah, this is where you go and do it. It's really not scary. It's just a couple copy paste. It takes like
Yeah.
2 seconds.
My question was, because right now you said, for example, you do it with a subdomain, which is actually also a thing, because you can,
Yeah,
with a custom domain, you can do it with your main domain,
yeah,
but you
that's
can
true.
do
You
it
don't
also
have
with
to
a
do it on a
custom domain.
subdomain. You can have it as
Yes.
your entire website.
But my question is, are the deep links actually the same? Like, it doesn't matter if you use the custom domain or the domain that is provided, the URL that is provided with FlutterFlow, the path is actually should be the same, right?
Yeah, so I think, again, I don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of it either, but much less than you probably. It's essentially, judging by the word proxy. I mean, this is how Webflow works, for instance. So Webflow, if any of you are familiar with that, like, that's how you go and set it up. And I think it must create a more deep link, if you like, not deep link in the terms of, but a more secure connection when you do it like this with a CNAME record, rather than it being like a spoofed alias address or something like that. So everything that you will do in terms of your deep linking will be based off of, if you've done just your main domain, flexburst.dev, if you've done a subdomain, app.flexburst.dev. Like, that's how our website works.
Yeah.
You should know this. How do you think our functions, our public functions work? Cool. So that's that. Exciting. This one, Firebase remote config, I'm not going to pretend I understand or that I've ever used. From what I do know about it, it is essentially a way to change your users' apps remotely without them having to do an update of your app. I think that's the most, and I think you can also set things dynamically. So, for instance, I think, maybe an example, it's kind of like cloud local state, if you like. But I'll be honest, I don't know how you use it in Flow.
Yeah, for example, to be honest, I don't know either, but we'll try to figure out this live. It will probably fail, but we'll try it anyway. But I was thinking, for example, when you deploy an app to the App Store or to the Play Store, and you want to change some, for example, I deployed my app like one week ago, and there was one guy told me that, okay, but you had a mistake, like I misspelled one letter of a word, and I in order to fix this, I have to deploy this again and go through the whole process once again. And yeah, I was thinking, if this is enabled, and you put your text like this, and if you did some error, you don't need to deploy your app again. You can just
Was it an error in the UX, in the actual app, or was it an error in the like in the store description?
It was an error of I had a text field which I just misspelled a word,
Okay.
so I just made a typo. And in order to fix this, I need to fix it in FlutterFlow, and then I have to deploy it because there is no other way to actually fix this. But now using Firebase remote config, I'm thinking that if you put your text there, you can change it, and then it should be live in the app, isn't it?
So it seems like it. So some of the use cases, I'm literally reading this on the Google Help thing. So some of the examples of use cases they give are define platform and locale specific promo banners for your app. Imagine you have an e-commerce sale coming up and you want to enable a promotional splash screen in your app. Further, imagine you want to customize the splash screen to the same locale that your user has set to their device. You can define a parameter, promo splash graphic, and set its value to static URLs hosted on Firebase storage, and then reference them dynamically in your app. You could then assign different values to Android and Apple for locales that are most important. Da, da, da. So it looks like, yeah, you set up, like for instance, in this case, they have different image URLs, yeah? And then you're having a variable value in your app that says go and get this, for UK, US, whatever, so that it can have a dollar sign. Another one they have is like if you want to test functionality for like a certain group of people, then you can do the same thing. Use JSON to configure complex entities. Da, da, da. Do you want to should we try it? Do you want to pull it up? Let's try it.
Yeah, so I'm already doing this.
Oh, sorry. I was just reading the Google Help pages.
So it's if we go to settings and then go to integrations, then go to Firebase config, just enable this option right here. And then when you click this button in Firebase, this is actually what you get. So this is what you get. And you need to create configuration. This is the first thing that we need to do. So if I click over here, this will be the parameter name. So the parameter name will be, I don't know, like title, for example, or something like that. And then what is this, a string, a Boolean, or JSON?
Okay.
Let's pretend that this is a string. And description will be like a title of my app, for example. And then default value will be
my app. Yeah.
My app title, for example.
Yeah.
And then they say it's guiding me. I like that because it's guiding me like what should I click next. So it says target or experiment with different parameters and values. So if I click over here, I think the idea here is that I can just send this to personalized users. So if I click over
so I guess if you have them is like if you store a value for each user in country, let's say, so each user has a country string or something, right? US, UK, whatever. Then for the US ones, you could do, my amazing app title, because everything's bigger and better in America. And so I think that's how it works, no? But how does it actually then? So this is the first step.
Yeah. So I just created this. So introducing person now automatically optimized individual user experience using the power of machine learning. I'm not sure what is that exactly.
Everything's machine learning nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel our YouTube title of advanced animations was incredibly misleading at this point.
Yeah.
But we will get there.
So I should publish. I'm imagining because it's on it's red and it says publish changes. So I should publish the changes. I'm guessing this is the case. And then I have this title, which is the name of my variable. And if I switch back to FlutterFlow, it says search remote config parameters. And if I try to search,
no way it's suitable. No, it's not. No way it's search.
No, because it says search remote config parameter. So I should be able to search here, right?
Yeah,
apparently it's not showing.
Okay.
Let me just add it manually.
Oh, I think it's maybe just searching the ones you've already added. No.
Yes, probably you're right. And the default value, I already did that.
Well, it's like when you set up your collection. This needs to exactly match probably what you put in Firebase, is my guess, right?
Yeah, probably. So the default value, it's this one. And then, I really like how when you press enter, you're getting
what?
You don't see anymore what you're reading, right?
It's because it's multi-line, no?
Exactly. Okay, and
Running
now
down
I
the bottom
and now
menu.
I and I have created that. And then how do you use actually this? This is the I think question for the $1,000,000, because if you actually go over here, and if I want to use my title, oh, it's over here, right? So you go over here. There is a new source, which is Firebase remote config, and you have the title. So that's great actually, because right now, as you can see, you can use the remote config title that I just created. You can use it in your app, and then you can actually change it from here. The whole idea is that I can go back to Firebase, and I go to this title that I just created, and then I click over here, and then I can just change it, and I can just say my new title, my new app title, and then save it. And then after that, I need to publish it. So I have to publish it one more time. And then I should be able to see the changes. So actually, I'm not sure. And if FlutterFlow developers are actually listening to this, or the FlutterFlow team is actually watching this, actually, I have a question for them. Is this actually a good way to do all your app text this way? Because I think if you do it this way, and in my case, as I did a typo here, so if I, for example, if I just write and just write it like that, I don't know, like I did a typo here, and that's it. I have to deploy the whole app again. But if you are using this new Firebase remote config, then you can just publish it, and all the text that you have used, it will be automatically, miraculously, just you just get your new text in the app. So I think this is actually a good thing. We have to still test it because it's a new thing, but I think this is something
We've had a
exciting.
question from the audience, and I
Yeah.
feel like at this point, I should add
Yeah.
a very strong disclaimer. We don't work for FlutterFlow. They just gave us t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just fanboys. So we don't have any ability to, we're not blameable for things that don't work, and we're also not to be given credit for their cool things like this. The question specifically was about when are they planning to have the bottom menus and drawers independently configurable for web and mobile? And the answer is I have no idea. But yeah, there are definitely FlutterFlow for web, or Flutter for web in general, is not perfect. I think that Flutter would admit that, and it's definitely not going to be as responsive as something like Webflow, for instance. It's just not. However, there are definitely lots of features that you can do to make it better. The other issues are around, SEO is really hard for web apps, while I'm on the topic. And then my biggest thing right now, which again is not just FlutterFlow, it's a Flutter limitation, is about cores. So a lot of times I've had issues now with making API calls and stuff like that. They work fine mobile, they don't work on web. So yeah, I think the answer is that those things will improve. But some of them are definitely just underlying kind of Flutter limitations, and not necessarily FlutterFlow. Other ones, yeah, I think there are definitely improvements that can be made for responsiveness. Like we had it today when we were doing stuff right. It looks kind of good on, and it wasn't even mobile to web. It was just two webs, but different screen sizes. And it looks great on one, and it looks kind of crap on the other, what we were building. So yeah, that's hopefully an answer. Shall we go on to the next, the news?
Welcome.
What? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to do the reading. All right. I'm gonna have to get used to this. Animations. We're finally there. Let's flop around with animations. So, and then what time is it? 30. Okay, cool. We'll do this.
It's time to call the police.
So, what?
You don't know this song? Okay.
No. Okay, cool. There have been as they describe it, a massive upgrade to animations, and I would say so. In fact, it was so massive that I haven't even got all of my head around, but we were kind of expecting this. We talked a little bit about some of the stuff they did before. The big three highlights is there are new animation effects. 8 of them, including rotate, shake, blur, which are really cool. So in terms of just having stuff slide on and off, you can have it spin around and give your users vertigo. You can also reverse animations. By combining loop and reverse, you can create a boomerang effect. We're gonna have
I think we can do this, right? Just to show.
we're gonna have to try around with this because I think we'll just start with like a really basic widget and we're just gonna try layering on the options, because then there's also more options. We have added new animation to start, stop, and reverse animations. So what
Can you guide me?
Yeah, let me come back to the screen. Essentially, this is all about making the idea that you might mouse over something or touch something and it appears, and then you want to be able to make it disappear with kind of a different animation. So where to start? I would say let's start with just like, let's just put a basic like container in the middle and let's just try and animate it.
Yeah, this is my container. It's a picture.
Cool. Can we have it like a little bit more in the middle of the screen?
I think so. I'm not sure.
And then also, can you do like, can you do on the image? Can you make it like smaller so that it's easier for us to tell where it's moving? So if you do like 0, 0 for the positioning.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Like, because I want to be able to see exactly where it's moving to.
Yeah.
So let's get started with.
Is it on page load or?
No, let's do on action trigger, because I think for those of you who are not familiar with animations, there are essentially 2 choices. There's on page load animations and on trigger. On trigger is the one that's going to be more interesting and allow you to do a lot more cool stuff. And the triggers are configured from something else. So we will also, can we also have a button in our column, by the way, before you get started on the animations?
Sure.
That will make it easier for us to, please, some padding.
Sure thing.
Okay, cool. So this will allow us, okay, so let's set up an animation on that image. And then we'll basically use the button to kind of control it. So let's start with just a basic one, like a slide. So let's have some movement. I really can't see your screen today. I don't know why.
I have no idea.
It's okay. I'm just blind or something. It's okay. I kind of know what the options are. So to go through those options, if you read through them, they are from top to, I'm going to have to do it on my screen. I can't read you.
Okay, wait. What about now?
That's better. Now I can see. Thank you.
Okay.
Old eyes. So apply. So first option, you see you have 3 options here, right? So apply, I think that says initial state, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Apply initial state. Then you have hide before animation. And then the third one is apply same duration time. That applies if you have multiple animations, so that you can have them all have the same kind of intro times and delays and stuff. So the first 2 ones are the biggest ones. They recommend you leave the first one toggled true. And then we're going to start by just leaving this other one as false. What you have here, again, for those of you who don't use animations, what you have here is a duration of the animation. That's going to be how long it takes to go from start to finish. The second one is a delay. How long after the trigger, so how long after you touch your button in this case, is that animation going to start? And then what you have is the values. In this case, we're doing slide. These are going to change. These options are different for each of the animations. But for a basic slide, you have horizontal. You can move things up, down, left, right, which are your horizontal and vertical. And negative values are to the left and down, and positive values are to the right and up. So, and you have the initial state and the final state. So here, if your initial is at 0, that means what you're looking at in the designer is where the animation will start from. If we put the final as, let's say, 300, yeah?
Yeah.
That is going to mean that this moves to the right 300 pixels, essentially. I'm not sure if it's actually pixels, but then with the vertical offset, it would go up, yeah? So if you put a vertical from the initial of 0, and then put a vertical of like 200.
For the final position, right?
Yeah, exactly, for the final position. So this is going to go bloop, bloop. And I think, yeah, completely. There you go. If you put negative 200, it goes down, right? Did you put negative 200?
No.
Okay, so sorry, apologies. 200 is down, negative is up. So that's your basic now animation, right?
Yeah.
Now, where it gets, if you go onto your actual button, how do you trigger this, right? So if you go to the button,
Yeah.
and then we go to our actions,
Yeah.
and we add, just search for animate, because this is where all the new stuff is.
Widget animation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Widget animation, you're going to be able to select your image. And first of all, what you see here that's new is you've got 3 options here: start, stop, and reverse. If on that second toggle.
Yeah.
Start animation is the one you previously had. Stop animation, I am essentially think that means what you can do is, even if your animation has a 600 millisecond duration, you can actually have your action, you can have a start widget animation, and then in your, we're going to need the flow editor here, by the way, but like, because we're going to have multiple actions, but the stop one will stop it, and the reset will put it back to its initial state. It's just kind of common sense, I guess. Yeah. So if you were to do a start,
so if I want to stop it, it will just stop on whatever
exactly,
position it is, right?
Exactly. So if you were, for instance, if your animation duration is 600 milliseconds and you do the start and then you have a second action in your action chain that's wait for 300 milliseconds, you could then have another widget animation to stop it halfway through.
Okay.
Cool. So if you just do the start one though,
yeah,
you'll see there's all these other options now. So this first one is non-blocking. The non-blocking, my understanding of it, is exactly the situation I described. So if you want, normally widget animations would go one, then the other, then the other. You can now essentially trigger those to go in parallel, or also if you wanted to have, as I said, an animate, a wait, and then a stop, that's how you would do it. You would toggle that to be non-blocking. The next option here is resume animation. This is essentially if you want it, if you stopped it and you want it to now start, but from where it was last time, where you stopped it at, you can do that with resume animation. The third one is loop animation. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I believe this just means it goes continuously until I guess you stop it. So it will spin, 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 spin. So if you're, I guess I'm trying to think of this would most be on a rotate action. So it'll exactly, it will spin, spin, spin. And so the rotate, you could then stop it and then start it. And if you combine it with mouse over and stuff like that, you can do some cool things, I think. And then this reverse one is the one that we need to test because I don't quite understand it. So reverses the animation once it completes playing. So
yeah, I think it's, in our case, this image is going top right, right? So it's
yeah.
going top right, and then it's going back, and then it's going up again, and then go back.
Oh,
and
okay, okay. I see.
I think this is the animation that we are going to have.
Okay, okay. So it goes up, then back. That makes sense. That makes sense. So it will do, I guess then, is it then the same as a one loop? No, because a loop is just going to be, it runs the exact same animation again and
Yeah,
again.
exactly. The loop,
Whereas
it will be like that.
it's a reverse pass.
Yeah.
It's a mirror. So it's the exact opposite value. So if you were 200 pixels up, 200 to the right, it will now go 200 pixels to the left, and it will do that, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just do it once, and whereas if you do it in a loop, it will do, I guess, that continuous.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if I would describe that as boomerang effect, but okay, cool. Do you want to set like a few of these? So, because we're gonna have to build this to get them to actually work, I think, right?
Yeah, okay. Let me, what do you want? Just another image or what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, we need a couple different buttons, right? I'm just
Okay.
thinking because we have to wait for it to
So
build.
the same image but different buttons, or what do you think?
Yeah, let's do different images. So let's just at least do like 2 images and 2 buttons, I guess. Yeah.
The problem here is that I'm not sure if this project will build because I have like 1,000 things here, and because I'm saving all the things that we talked
There's no
about,
errors.
there is no errors. But
Yeah, so should run.
okay.
So yeah, I guess if you can just do it exactly the same image, so we have a duplicate to compare against.
Okay.
We could do 3. We could do 3 or 4 of them. No.
I think 2 it's okay. We don't have so much time.
Okay, cool. So then let's test make sure we're right about how that reversing works.
Okay, let's make one more and then I'll hit the run button.
Okay, cool.
What do you want us to
So
do?
what I wanted to do was just on this one, just do it with the reverse option enabled.
Okay.
So the exact same animation.
The same animation. Okay, so I can copy and paste it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I can copy it from here and then paste it over here. And then the button.
You can copy paste. Yeah, exactly. Just add it again.
You're saying
have it animate widget 2. This is like me testing. So much for I wanted to talk. Yeah.
And what do you?
So I just want to try the reverse one.
Just the reverse one without anything else.
Yeah, just the reverse one. I'm curious what the loop one would do. I guess the loop one, it would probably jump. I guess it would appear back, right?
Only the loop, you mean?
No, yeah, that's what I'm asking you. What do you think it would do?
I think it would be jump. It would
and then disappear and then start from here again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the reverse should go. You should see it actually track. This is really cool.
Should I run it?
Yeah, do it. 30 seconds.
I don't think it will work, but okay.
Why not?
Because I said there are a lot of things here, so I think it will just.
Are you saying that your code is broken?
Oops.
We can talk about, I guess, some of the other updates while we're waiting for it to build. Selectable text. This one is very cool as well. You can now make any text selectable. To be able to copy paste text, except you can't do copy paste on web without a custom action. But that custom action is really simple, actually. So, do you want to show that where that option is?
Yeah, sure.
Is it on text? It's on all text widgets now, yeah.
Let me just show you. So I can create a text over here. And I think the option is enabled by default. Yeah, it is.
Oh, really?
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
When you have a new text, it's enabled by default. The problem is that there is someone said that if you actually look at the code is not generated. So there is a small bug, but the code is not generated the way that should be generated. But right now it is generated. Okay. I don't remember what was the issue exactly, but they could be an issue. So if you don't use this feature, I suggest you to just disable it for now and just wait a couple of weeks and then
a couple of days hopefully. But yeah, okay, that's really cool. We can also, maybe in another week we'll show you how to do that for copy paste on web, but obviously on or even, to be honest, even copy paste, there's a better, because right now you have to do copy paste essentially with the share action, right?
Yeah.
On mobile, but there is a pretty simple way to do it with a custom action on web. Cool.
But if you're wondering if this will work, at the end of the day, you can just hit here the developer menu, view code, and then click over here. If you see actually this text, like I'm seeing it right now, it is working. So
okay, so it's working. I thought you meant it was the selectable part that wasn't working. I see.
Yeah.
Cool. How's our test mode doing? Has it been 30 seconds?
Look.
Well,
so it's not working, as I said.
You're always right, aren't you? Always right about how your code is crap. Well, why is it not running? Can't you? I thought you were the king of deleting stuff every time. This one time now, when I want to actually do a run mode, you.
No, but because you said last time that it's cool to keep it like everything that we did to just keep it, and then I'm just keeping it, right?
Okay, well.
I think it's because it says list view events record core. I think something that we did with the core, but I don't want to debug it right now.
Okay. Can you then do the opposite? Can you start a new project and just duplicate that page?
To see the animations?
Yeah, exactly. Because if we can't test the animations, it's kind of pointless. I guess we're going to run out of time. I just want to see how they work, to be honest.
Can I copy?
You can copy that entire, exactly, that entire page, and everything should.
Can I copy with Control C and Control V?
Yeah, that's generally how it's done. Yeah.
Okay, you can talk about the next thing. Why?
Okay. Cool. What is it? The next thing is code comments. You said you hadn't figured this one out, though, right? You can now add code comments on actions and widgets that will appear in exported code base. This is if you're a real developer and you want to comment your code well, this is actually kind of nice, to be honest. It makes it much more. It means when you if you ever decide to leave FlutterFlow or you want to share your code to maybe hire some developer to come in, it will definitely help them to understand what's going on, and just in the long, this is a really cool thing for blending the difference between code and no code, I think. In terms of what code comments means, for those of you who don't know, when you normally write code, you can have, it depends on the language. In Dart, it's / from right to left, like that. I guess maybe this is a mirror image, but when you do that, it means the compiler, the program doesn't actually interpret what you've written, so you can write anything, notes to your friends, etc. Did it work?
So how do I write notes? It's still building, so in the meantime, we can talk about that.
How do you do it? I mean, you should just be able to add it on any action widget, it says.
Action or widget? Okay, I don't have any action or widget, so let me just create one real quickly.
It doesn't have to be custom actions. Like even the widget animate action that we just created, yeah?
Really?
In the action flow editor.
Okay, let me try that. So if I go, you're saying if I go over here.
Yep.
And then I go over here.
Yep.
And then I open the action flow editor.
And then
I should be able to comment
right there.
here.
Yeah, exactly there.
Okay, so what I say, this action
is a stupid widget.
Is not working. Check it. And this goes where? This goes to the whole action, right? If I click one more time,
yeah.
I can
so if
see
you go do view, if you go look at view code,
it's over here. You mean?
Yeah, it's in the exported code, is what it's for.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll show up in this view or not, but when you download the code, it would show up.
Okay. So if I go to comments over here, I should be able. Okay, it's like this.
Or is it there or no?
No, it's not there.
No, exactly. Those are comments. Those are different. This is actually to put code comments into your code. You're the developer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the developer. I'm using like a normal IDE. It's not.
This is for us no-coders to tell you what we're trying to do with our app, so that you can fix it for us. That's the idea.
Okay.
Cool.
So you mean this is going inside the code? Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Let me check. Let me really check if that is really going right now here, because you're saying it's going here. So it should be.
I'm not sure if it'll be there. It might be only when it downloads.
Okay, it is here. Look.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is.
Cool. All right, we gotta go. We gotta move because I want to talk about.
Sure.
I want to answer that question that we had.
Sure.
So animation improvements. GitHub issues tracker. We're gonna talk about this. So they have created a GitHub issues tracker so that you can report bugs.
Yeah, I can just show it real quick. I can talk about it. It's just real quickly, like 1 minute.
Let me show a good example of how to report a bug. Basically, this is to allow.
There is actually an example here. So if you're wondering how to do that, there is here on the second page, or there is an example.
How do you get here?
Yeah, so you get here from the link that is over here, isn't it? This link. GitHub is a tracker. Then you click this link and you're going, if you click this link, you're going over here. And here we already have 41 issue trackers. I'm the annoying guy, which is this guy over here. It's, for example, this issue over here. I'm this guy over here. So if you see me complaining about something, that's me. And then if you go over here, you go to the second page, and there is the fourth one right now, where it says example. So when you click on the example, this is actually the example that this is.
It's like a template that you can fill out.
Exactly. This is
type form, but okay.
It's very important actually, I just want to mention that it's very important to actually fill all the necessary steps, like the expecting behavior, the current behavior, the steps to reproduce. This is very important
This
as well.
This is the most important one. If
Exactly.
steps to reproduce, I will explain it in my human terms. Steps to reproduce means that if something is not working, you have to describe, essentially, if you want it to get fixed quickly, the best way to get it fixed quickly is to describe exactly how someone else can start on a blank FlutterFlow project with nothing related to your app and get that same bug, and describe the steps they need to. So imagine it from create a new project. You don't need to write that necessarily, but create a new project, create a new page, add an image widget, make the image widget 155 pixels wide. And what you should see is that the image widget goes to 155 pixels. But what actually happens is it randomly goes to the entire width of the page, and it shouldn't. And those are reproducible steps. It means that anybody can just read those steps, and they have everything they need to know in order to get the exact same thing that you are having problems with. And that is the only way that the bug can get fixed, essentially.
Exactly. So it's very important to actually, as you said, it's very important to do it with the new project, because don't do it in your own project, because on your own project maybe it's not working, but try to reproduce this same mistake or same issue in a new project. If you're able to do this in a new project, then yeah, just write it over here, and then we can test it, and the FlutterFlow team can easily reproduce it as well and fix the problem.
And then they can fix it. But if you just say the image is not the right size at 155 pixels, unfortunately, that's not really enough to actually, and plus it hasn't been confirmed. And the way the developer people work, people like Dimstar, they need to be able to confirm it. They need to be able to just not take your word for it. But if they can't make it happen again and again themselves, they can't then figure out what's wrong with it. So that's
and another important thing is that your environment. So you need to fill this part as well. And there is actually something new that I wanted to talk about. That, for example, if you go to the, I don't know, like the random latest one, I don't know if it's filled. It's not. But you can see over here that it says bug report code. So they, in the latest example, the latest template, actually, they want us to fill the bug report code, and this is actually, I can show you actually how you can get this.
Click on it.
When you go over here, and when you actually, if for example, let's just get an example that this text is not working, as I told you, probably there is some bug over here. Right click over here with the mouse and click over here, get bug report code. And when you click on that, you copy, it's actually copied to your clipboard, and you can paste it in the issue tracker. This is how you actually do it.
And that means that they actually get to find out a lot more information, even, and you don't have to type it out. Another thing I will show, can you just open a new tab real quick? This is a little shortcut, and they've said is okay. If you go to scribehow.com.
Scribe,
SCRIB.
Yeah. I've been there.
Can you share whatever tab you're going to? Yeah. This is like a Chrome extension you can install. It's free. And what it will do is it will actually record the reproducible steps for you. So it will, you just activate, you say start recording, kind of like a screen recording. And what it will go do is it will take screenshots every time you click on something in the builder in FlutterFlow. And it will also describe it in writing. And so if the form seems too long, this is a great way to create reproducible steps really quickly, because you literally just do it yourself. You don't have to write anything. And then you can include a link to that in the reproducible steps, and they will be able to go and look at that scribe how and see the bug. So yeah, that's just a little, I'm lazy.
Are you ready for animations?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's see them.
Okay.
Not in the middle of the page.
What was the, I have no idea. What was the first animation? The first animation was to go the whole edit.
Yeah, exactly.
Go and then go back, right?
Maybe we'll see.
So if I click it, yeah.
Okay, so this is with loop, yeah.
Yeah. This is like a boomerang. And the other one
is reverse.
Reverse, yeah.
So it just does it once. Why don't you call it single loop?
Because it's going and then it's reversing, right? This is the only thing
Yeah.
that.
So I guess where you would do, if you wanted to, for instance, have a menu appear and disappear, what you would do is essentially one button click would trigger the animation, and then you stop it when it's out of screen, and then you click again to resume the animation to have it come back on screen. That kind of makes sense to me.
No, but actually, if you don't reverse it, like in this case, in the second case, if you don't reverse it, it will be off screen, right?
Yeah, but then how do you get it to come back? That's the problem.
Yeah, you're right.
So you have to have it go off and then stop it and then resume it, essentially.
You're right.
There may be some other ways. I'll have to play around more with the options. But
No,
I do
you're
want to
right.
talk about this data stuff. So can you maybe pull up that question in the community so we can
Sure.
look at the screenshots and then walk through it?
I have to find it.
We had a question on which I really
Do
like.
you know what is the title? What was the title? I have to find it.
I tagged you in it. You should have a notification from me.
You tagged me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did tag back.
Okay.
Hear it.
We're playing the tag game.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've got the maturity of a 5-year-old. So this question deals with document references, which a lot of people have actually been asking, and then also about kind of how to do your Firebase data structures. I think we've kind of
you can read it, I think.
Yeah, well, I would just describe it. But
sorry.
I'm going to do a workshop on this in more depth, because as we found out, we can't cover the news and do these kind of things, unfortunately, all in 1 hour. It's just too much. Like right now, we're down to the final 7 minutes. Maybe if I shut up more, we would we would get more covered. But essentially, so I'm going to do a longer, like 40 minutes on this and go through some stuff about how to actually use this, because this specific question has more generic context. So what this user was trying to do is essentially they've got what is equivalent to photos and photo albums. Yeah. So in this case, I think it's fashion outfits. So they've got a fashion outfit, shows how fashionable I am, fashion outfit, or just an outfit with a photo URL and some other, ratings and things about it. And then they've got another collection called reflections, where they've got more text field. And then they've got essentially a list of document references to the outfits. Yeah. So this is equivalent to if you had a photos collection and a photo albums collection where you wanted to have a list of those photos. What they then go through to show is that something that comes up with a lot of people is in that first screenshot. If you highlight that one, if you can make that bigger.
I don't know how I can make it bigger.
So on this page, what they are looking at basically is the equivalent of a photo album, and they've got a grid view where they're doing generate children from list. Yeah, generate children from list, because they've got in this this document, they've got a list of image URLs, and this will display perfectly fine, and it's a great way to do that. The other thing that they mentioned in their question is whether to do that, whether to store a list of images like that, or to store this is not a list of images. This is a list of document references. So
Exactly.
the grid is displaying a list of document references. And then for each one, they're using the document reference to get the document in the outfits or photos collection, and then using that. One thing I'll mention here is that this is fine and works great for small collections. If you try to do this for instance, say you had 200 users, I think Abel said maybe over 20 or something, and then you go for each of them and get their users document, you will have performance issues when you're scrolling that list. So for instance, an example would be if you had a list of your friends and you've been stored, or a list of users who have liked this, yeah? And you've stored that as a list of user references, and then you want to say, see who liked it. You go to that page, it displays that list, and for each one you want to get their photos, so you're going to get their user document. If it's a Beyonce song and it's 100 people, I guess a few more maybe. If it's my song, it wouldn't. But anyway, you get my point. If it's 100, it's going to not scroll well. For small things, this is okay, but just as a side point. So then what they're doing is in the next screenshot, the one above this.
Sorry.
In the one above this, I think. Yeah, what they're doing here is displaying two. So they've got two document references and they're comparing them side by side. So essentially it's a grid with two things in it. And then in the next screenshot, I think they also say that was working, right?
This also works.
This also works. And then it's the third one that doesn't, right? What I want to do that isn't working. So what they want to do that isn't working is to essentially have, if you pull that screenshot up, is essentially have the grid. They want to filter or sort the items that are in the list and then separate them out in the UI. So for instance, I think in this case, every photo has a rating on it, right? And so they want to go through that list of document references and then filter it. So how do you solve this? If you pull up that last image, sorry, the last one. So I think that there may be a short answer to this, which is because what they've got here is a list of documents, I think already, right?
Yeah, it says filter list items, so I'm guessing that it's
it's document references, right? I think.
Yeah.
So you can't filter the document references when they don't have any properties. If this were a list of actual images or outfits, in this case, I think it's called documents, the difference on this menu that you're seeing, there's something called item in list right there.
Yeah, here.
And this is the one that this will have different options. So if these were documents, you would be able to click item in list right there. And then, you would actually be able to do it so you would choose a condition first. You would choose a condition, and then you would choose item in list, some property of it, like the rating, and then, equals to 5 or equals to 4, and you'll be able to filter. And what this will do is go through every one of those documents and check if that property of it. So depending on exactly how this was done, if you gone and got the documents for those outfits, this would be how you would do it. It would just be with that other menu option, and start with the condition and then get the property you want to compare against. The broader point that I was going to talk about, I don't know if you want to try to maybe go into Firestore.
Yeah, Firestore or...
I mean, if you want, I can show it actually, because, or would it be easier?
Okay, if you can show it. I was thinking it's okay to create those two collections.
Yeah, let's create it right here. Actually, it's better if you do it right.
So output. So what was the collection? Do you remember?
Outfits. Can you just call them photos and albums, or should we call it? It's just more generic.
I think it's
okay. Better. Okay. Outfits and reflections. It was called.
Yeah, because I think if someone wants to see, they can actually see this probably.
Okay.
I think people are smart enough to.
I was. It took me a while to figure out what reflections were. I guess I don't do much self-reflection. So we've got two collections that are called outfits and reflections. So this one essentially is the one that has the image URL. That's the important part here. You can give it maybe just a name and an image URL.
This one, right?
Yeah, this one, exactly.
So we have a
name, image URL,
image,
and the photo, URL. And then give it a rating or something. Yeah?
Image and a rating.
Cool. And then
the rating is a string, or what is this? Double.
Let's say a number just to make it easier, like an image integer.
Integer, okay.
Cool. And again, this could really be anything. It could be any properties about your photo or whatever. And then this one is essentially, let's give it a name, and then give it a list of document references.
What is the name? Outfits. What would be the name?
Outfit list or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is essentially every
document reference, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it's a list of them.
List of outfits, right?
Yep. Cool. So if we were going to build this really quickly, And then as Dimitar is building this, I think you can build it, no? I'll talk a little
I
bit.
think so.
I'll talk a little bit more generally about the other ways to do this and what are the kind of situations where you might want to use one versus the other. So you can have your collection of outfits or photos, let's say, and the information that you want to store in there is the stuff that will never change about that photo. For instance, where it was taken, a latitude and longitude, the date it was taken, a title that will never, let's say, change, for instance, like as if it was a file name. And at that point, you can give it also an ID that's unique. And we can actually, when I do my workshop, I'll show you how you can actually set that. And the other thing that is often useful to have is to actually have a field with the document reference itself. So the document ID is a string value. The document reference is like a URL. Yeah, it says the exact place where it is, and it allows Firestore to find it. So, in this case, it's literally represented with slash values.
I have a question. Yeah. Are we taking the reflections, right?
Yeah, so we're looking at one reflection.
So we're looking at only one. So we're taking the outputs or the reflections? We're taking the reflections.
We're looking at one reflection, and then she wants to see the outfits that are in that reflection.
Okay. So this is single document, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then some sort of list from the other. Anyway, so in the case of, if you're starting to, your user is adding images and they're adding photos, adding photos, adding photos, adding photos. And they've got these kind of basic properties about it. What will then happen normally is you might want to offer your users the ability to group those photos into albums normally, which is essentially the case we have here. And when you do that, there are essentially two ways you can do it. One is you tell the user you have to create the album and then upload images to it. But they've already got images. They want to be able to add those images. And one way you can do that is to have them essentially choose the image, the original image, and then you make a copy of it into the album. The second, and then store it, maybe in a list of photo images, or as a document in a subcollection. The second way is you reference the original image. The disadvantage of referencing the original image is that it means you might want to add more context. So in this case, we have ratings, right? So let's say these outfits, to bring it back to point, right? Let's say that one of the albums or whatever is a best outfits for summer, right? A particular outfit that is like a skirt or whatever, or in my case, man thong, that is very good for summer is going to have a rating of 5 in that particular case, yeah? But the outfit will have a different rating if we're looking at it in the context of best outfits for winter, right? It's going to have a rating of 1 and 5. And so that is why you want to actually store that somehow, that rating, with the context that is being viewed in rather than with the image. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, Dimitar. Is this making any sense?
Not for me.
Not for you? Okay. This is why I said I'm going to do a workshop on it, because I'm not sure if this is making any sense.
No, but can you just guide me through here? Because I'm not very good Firebase user. So I have a colon. I have a colon, which I'm getting the reflection and a single document, right?
Exactly. So then what you need is a list view, and then you would be generating children.
Exactly. But why it's not working? Why can't I get it from here?
Generate.
I should be able to get it from.
Because I don't think you have a list there, buddy. I don't think you ticked the box for list.
Probably. Where is the box?
So if you go and add it again or delete it.
Delete it. Probably you're right.
I was really just talking to myself there for like 5-10 minutes. I don't think anybody understood.
This. How do I say? Okay, here.
It changed
it here. I don't use this. You can see it. I don't use it at all. So because I've used apicals, like I said,
Cool.
like 1 million times. Okay, so if I go over here, I should be able to select it.
Mhm.
Okay, no further changes, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah, and then this will be outfit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So this would be the most basic one. This is the one that people are kind of used to. So now the question is, if I want to filter that list, or sorry, if you want to get the name of the outfit, you need to now get the document. So this needs another query on it.
I just get it like that, right? Reference document and then the name, isn't it?
No, that's the reflections. We want the
Oh,
outfit.
sorry, the outfit item.
So
and
you
then-
need to go get the other document, basically. So
okay.
if you
So
cancel
how do
this,
I do that?
cancel this,
I
and
do it
do
from here, right?
exactly. So you would do a document from reference.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And this is coming from
So the get document from reference is an outfit, and you want to get the source is item in list, exactly. Because we have a list of document references. And now you will be able to set the text to be the outfit name or the
Okay.
rating or whatever, yeah?
Okay.
You
So
will
the
have access.
name will be
You have the outfits document now, yeah?
okay, and this will be the name.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay.
how do I filter them?
Well, this is the question, right? So
Yeah.
the thing is that the reason this is hard to filter, so if you go back into this outfits list,
This one.
yeah, exactly. So what was happening here, if you go no further changes, filter list items,
Yeah.
and then filter condition, and then they were clicking on outfit item.
This one.
Yep.
But I do I need I think I need the conditions, right?
Can we show all the ways first? So if you click outfit items, what you'll see is list contains item. So this is not right, basically. So if you
Yeah, I
do a
think you need a
condition,
condition, right?
yeah, exactly.
Because you need the boolean. So in the
Mhm.
end of the day, you can see
Yep.
here this FlutterFlow is expecting a boolean,
Yep.
and the boolean you can do it from a condition. So if I click on
Yep.
condition, single condition, and then I can choose here what I'm
So
choosing.
outfit item. So item in list is what I would do. So if you do item from list and then second value. So this is okay. And the second value is equal to. So this would be if you wanted. So what we're looking here is we're looking specifically if you wanted to compare this. If you had another list of document references or something. This is because remember the item in the list is a document reference, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do the outfits item instead, so change the first thing from item in list.
Yeah.
Change this one to outfit item. And then you get all these. List contains item. And again, you kind of get confused, yeah? Because no, the thing is that this is, while this seems like the most logical way to do it, it's really not, which is what my rambling tangent was about, yeah?
Yeah.
What you really want, the easiest way to do this is to actually do a query at, like, let's say the top of the page, yeah?
Okay. Let's do this on the top of
Let's
the
do this.
page.
And
then
to do a query of the outfits collection.
query of the outfits collection. Okay.
And do
Single document or a list document?
a list document.
Okay.
And now you can do, no, that's fine. Just do okay.
Okay. And then
Okay. Now go to your list view.
list view is this one.
Yep. And what you want to do here is change that.
Change it. Yes.
And do the outfits documents. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. And then change it from no further changes to filter list items. And then here you can do a condition. Sorry. Can you click on the reflections document?
Yep.
And then go outfits list.
Okay.
And then list contains item.
Okay.
Is that right? Item in list.
Okay.
Reference.
Okay.
So what we've done here now is, and again, this is depend if you
Easy.
have photos, but essentially what this has done is this has gotten you now to the point where you've got all the you've got now all of the outfits documents that are related. It's the opposite, basically. You've got all the outfits documents that are contained in that list of document references, yeah, that are in this particular reflection, yeah. What's this?
I'm getting an error. Output item. I don't know why I'm getting.
You can remove this now.
Remove this. Okay.
You don't need that second query because we've already got the outfits document itself. So
where I'm getting the name then? If I want to get the name,
yeah,
where am I getting from?
Outfit item.
From this one.
Yep. And now you've got access to all those properties now, yeah?
Okay. So I'm getting it like this, right?
Exactly. And so again, this is not the ideal way in this use necessarily how I would structure it. I would think that sub documents might be better. But if you now wanted to, in the specific answer, to give the shortest kind of answer, this is not short at all. But if you wanted to have now duplicate this to separate them out by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah?
Yeah.
You can then also do that, right? So you can add another filter on here.
Here.
So yeah, exactly. No, on that list view.
Yeah.
If you go back into the filter,
here.
And then where it says no further changes.
Yeah.
Map list items. So sorry, no, go back into the filter list items. I think we need to do it from there now.
Filter list is from here,
no,
right?
No, the list. So this one, the list view. What is this getting? This is getting the reflections. That's fine. We don't care about that. This one here. So let's do another example, right? Because what I would actually do normally is the very first query, I would use to get only the ones that are related to this reflection, yeah?
Okay.
So rather than because you don't want to get all of the outfits for the person, right? You just want the ones that you're concerned about for this particular page, yeah?
Okay.
So then what I would do is I would change this rather than looking at the document references, and then I would use this filter to be, so if we maybe reset it or remove it or whatever. Same filter list items, right?
This one?
Yep.
Do you want me to remove it?
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll just start it again just to make it cleaner.
Okay.
So what we're going to do again is we're on the assumption now that in the top query, we've already got only the ones that are related to this reflection, right? So now what we want to do is filter out some subset of those by the rating, yeah? So what we're going to do is, again, start from the top, from the outfits documents.
Yeah.
No, on the list view. Same generate children from list.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the source is the outfits documents, but we want to filter it, right? And we want to filter it by a condition.
Yeah.
And then we choose item in list.
Okay.
And then
no further changes, right?
No, we do want we want to get a property of it, right? So get document property, and then choose something like rating.
Okay.
And then that's fine now.
Okay.
And then let's say is equal to 5. Yeah, we only want the 5-star outfits.
5. Yeah.
Cool. And there you go. No further changes. And call this 5-star or whatever. Yeah. So what this specific list view would be displaying now is just the ones that are 5-star, right? If we now go to the very, very top of the page.
Very top of the page here, right?
Yep. Sorry, there's somebody.
Somebody's spamming here.
Yeah, exactly.
we don't have a lot of time, to be honest. So
yeah, sorry. So on the very top of the page, on that query, if you just edit this.
Yeah.
So what you would want to do is use the Firestore filter here.
Here, this one.
Exactly. And we would need some sort of property to know which reflection this is part of. So let's say that the name, if you don't want to go and create it, let's say that the name was the name of the reflection or something, is equal to, and then we either need to have our, say it's a specific value, or maybe you've, on this page, you've passed it in, or you've got the document, you know what the name of the reflection is in some way. Then, exactly. Joss outfits or whatever, right? So I know that's my collection. And so that's actually something you store in the outfits document. And that could be a document reference to the reflections. But this is the way that you do these sorts of things. And then this gives you much, much more power. And the queries are much simpler and it's much faster in terms of performance. So I hope that has answered the original question.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But you can do the workshop.
I definitely will do a workshop, and I did actually prepare stuff. By the way, I want some credit. Just I think it's better when you're building it, and I think that will make it make a lot more sense. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, feel free to just send them our way. And yeah, that's all for me.
Yeah, thanks very much, and we see next week. Next week will be probably flexible, and as I said last week, if we don't have an update, we'll just answer questions from the community. We'll just
hopefully better than I did today.
I'll just choose the best ones, or Josh, you can do it as well. But yeah, we can just choose the best ones, and then we can answer them.
Great. So, all right. Well, thanks to everyone who joined us, and I hope that was interesting and useful. Goodbye.
Yeah.